Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Not So Pro Football Talk. It's Tuesday, it's 6 o'clock. You know what that means. It's time for some fantasy football talk. I love fantasy football, especially after coming off a fresh dub. Not only did the Niners win last night, beating the LA Rams, proving all them haters wrong. I'm in a great mood now. I'm going to give y'all some great advice, but coming off a dub for fantasy football as well. Two out of three of my leagues, I am still undefeated. I'm still going to shout out all those guys over there in I'm going to say Muhammad's league. Seth and Muhammad Joseph and all them. What's up, guys? How does it feel being 4-0? Can't relate. It's okay. I'm here to help you out. We are here to help you out. Focus on week 5, picking up certain players for the waiver wire and get your first dub, if that's what it is. But quickly, I do want to give a few shout outs. Okay, one shout out. I don't know if they're going to be watching the show or not, but one shout out to Trinity Ortiz. 2 to Gabriel Munoz, and 3 for Austin Hawkins. Thank you guys so much for taking our NSP fantasy football advice. A quick little story: Trinity, one of the fantasy players, not in any leagues that I'm in. Her first game, she scored 79 points, and then she was going up against the league leader. And the league leader scored 155 points. Congratulations, Trinity. She scored 170 points. You get that dub. It's going to be a great season for you. Stick with us. We're going to help you get to the championship game. It's a true story. Look it up. But we got some people here. He says, Poodle Jimmy. Hey, Jimmy. I'll get into that later on if it does come up again. But I'm not going to get into that right now. He had a great game last night. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us live. Nick De La Rosa says, Nick, he says, Rush or Dak? Oh, man, you missed a good episode yesterday, my man. We're talking. That was our topic yesterday. Cooper Rush or Dak Prescott. Honestly, our opinion was you don't want to rush Dak into a situation where he's not 100% healthy. The Cowboys got something good going on. It is not pressed for time because they have been winning all their games. So you don't need to rush Dak back. Make sure that he's 100% healthy. He is still the team starter, but you got something good going on. You have a solid backup, maybe the best backup in the league as what we've seen so far, but you guys are looking good. Players are coming back. You got Michael Gallup coming in. He looked good, helping out CeeDee Lamb, and your defense is pretty top-notch. You guys are tied for first in a lot of series for defense, a lot of categories. So you guys look good. I wouldn't rush Dak back, but you guys are going to have more of a harder schedule coming up. But thank you so much for being here live with us, my man. Hopefully you're doing well in fantasy too. But let's get into it. Let's start off with our QBs, okay? And there's this one QB that I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to talk about one QB and one QB only because I talked about him last week, and I'm going to talk about it again. Jared Goff. He is still available out there. He is only rostered in 34% of leagues. He was rostered, I think, in 27 last week. Some people were listening. They picked up Jared Goff. They went against they went against Seattle. A lot of people did get scared, including myself. I will raise my hand because Amon-Ra St. Brown was gone. DJ Chark was gone. Their wide receiver core was depleted. But you know what? There's no defense on the field. Either sides. So points were scored, and Jared Goff was slinging the ball. I haven't seen him look like that even when he was with the Rams. I mean, he looked confident out there. Good for him. I still don't like the guy, but for fantasy purposes, he's not bad. Not a bad pick. Go pick him up. He's going to be getting points. He's been proven time in and time out that even without receivers, he's still going to find the end zone. It's a good system they got going on over there in Detroit. What are they? They are the highest scoring team in that division, right?
In the NFL.
In the NFL. They are the highest scoring team in the NFL. So go out there, pick up Jared Goff. You won't regret it, especially if you're struggling with some QBs. Like, let's say you picked up Carson Wentz, and now he's finally on that downslope. We warned you guys. We warned y'all. It wasn't going to pan out for them. But yeah, Jared Goff is available in over 50% of leagues. So who else y'all got?
You want me to go first, Reed, or you want to go?
You can go ahead. I don't have any quarterbacks. I don't trust any of these guys.
Okay. I'll come in with 3 of them. One of them we're going to have a long segment on because there's some funny drama with it. But the first guy I want to talk about is Mr. Gino Smith. I know in the beginning of the season I told y'all not to put him on your team, and you guys listened because he's still only on 7.9% of rosters right now. But the thing is, they're going up against the Saints this week. It's going to be a tough game. I think the Saints are going to get some pressure on him. But last week, the Lions didn't, and that's why he did so good. He got 31.7 points. So that's insane. It was a high-scoring game. But look for this week for him to be a little bit humbled. I see him getting about 18 to 20 just because there's going to be a lot of pressure. But he is clicking with the receivers in DK Metcalf as well as Tyler Lockett. And he loves his tight ends in the red zone. I'll talk about them a little bit later on. But yeah, pick him up. He's going to be someone who's going to be a little bit consistent going into further games. Another guy who's going to get the start, I like Andy Dalton. We're not really that high on him, but Andy Dalton is going up against the Seahawks.
It's a pretty good matchup.
Yeah, there's no defense. You guys saw it this past week when the Lions came to town. Jared Goff tore us up. They didn't get the win because our offense was also clicking, but I think Andy Dalton's going to have a decent game, and Olave is really going to get some production because of that. Lastly, I want everybody to chip in here. Is he a dog, man? Is he a dog?
This guy is an absolute dog, baby. He's out there. He's slinging. He's stealing Giselle right underneath from Tom Brady's hands.
Oh, my God.
He's Mr. Steal Your Girl right there. Oh, that guy's a menace. A menace.
But yeah, man, just like Zack Wilson picking up the ladies, especially the older ladies, I think you should pick up Zack Wilson as well this past week. They did not get the win, but he did pretty decent. He got 18.7 points in his comeback game for this year. So I see him getting a little bit more production since they are going against Miami, and Miami is the second worst defense against opposing quarterbacks in fantasy. So he's looking like he might have a good game, maybe about the 20-ish realm right there as well. Other than that, I guess we can move on to the next one.
I was a little worried about the Jets coming in with Zack Wilson. I'm like, what is he going to look like? And honestly, he picked up. He saw Joe Flacco. Obviously, he felt like there was pressure underneath him, which there is, and he looked good out there. The only person that did look good was Garrett Wilson. Now I have some concerns about Garrett Wilson. So if you have some Jets players on your fantasy team, which I know a year ago this would have sounded crazy, but you got people like Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Tyler Conklin, Davis. He looks good out there, but you're going to see a change of pace when it comes to receivers, even tight ends. But Breece Hall, 100% safe. He's getting the targets. He's getting the rushes. I will say that. But yeah, we could definitely move on. We got a question here. It says, desperate for a running back, Penny, Gordon, or Algier? Now, just a simple fact that Penny and Gordon are available for you, assuming that you're talking about that they are on the waiver wire, just because we talked about this earlier today, that is insane. Okay, absolutely insane. Penny, I think in the long run, I think you should sell high right now because further on during the schedule, I don't know if he's going to have the same production, and he has had injury history. Gordon, I like him a lot. I do feel like he will be the bell cow. I know everyone's so high on Boone, whatever. He's not going to get 50% of the snaps right away. Gordon has time to prove himself to be that number one back, but he has been struggling with a fumble injury. He's even got emotional on the podium. And Algier, I think he's a great pickup, but between Penny and Gordon, that should be your third option. Now, I could be wrong about Penny. That's why I want to hand the mic off to Vincent to get his inside information.
Well, right now I am looking at the half end of our schedule, and we do face a couple of teams who are top 5 against running backs. So this week I would not play Rashad Penny because I am not. Right now he is going up against the number 4 ranked defense against opposing rushers, and that is the Saints. So look for him to kind of slow down this week. But maybe next week and the week after that when he plays against Arizona and the LA Chargers. But I would say, if he's on your waiver wire, pick him up, drop someone else who's not very consistent or you're not really faithful in, because Penny will have games where he does score 28 points like he did this past week against the Lions. So he's a good guy to have. The one that I am concerned about the most is Melvin Gordon, because right now he's dealing with an ankle injury. So he's questionable to play. So that's why people are really looking at that third string running back there for Denver. But In my opinion, I think Gordon is the guy to not believe in out of those three, because I think Algier, when he did play, he had some pretty good production, and I kind of want to talk about him in a little bit.
Reed, you got any input on this one?
On as far as running backs, I like Penny the most out of those three. Gordon, I think he's going to eventually run himself out of the job. As much as I love him, I think he's going to run himself out of the job.
Sad. It's sad, but I do feel like he has a chance. I do feel like he has a chance to continue to be that RB1. And knowing the Broncos, Russell Wilson really hasn't been himself. He's finding himself just a little bit, but they do utilize the running back a lot. But Algier, let's get a little bit into Algier. I like him. He's taking the place of Cordero Patterson, who has found himself in the IR, not long term, okay, but for a minimum of 3 games, Algier is going to look pretty good because he was the one sharing the ball with Patterson. And the thing I like about Cordero Patterson is that he was a pass catching back. I mean, he started off as a wide receiver in the league. So Algier is going to be seeing all the rushes and all the targets. It's going to look really good on his part. It is said that he will be sharing the ball 50-50 with, was it Hunter? As the other back, but I still think Algier has the biggest upside here. That's why I have him placed 3rd amongst those 3 running backs that you didn't name, just because he will be sharing that backfield. But I do feel like he will be the one getting those targets.
Yeah, man, I agree. Just to elaborate a little bit on his rushing, he was averaging 8.4 when Patterson went down in this past game when they played against the Browns. So he had 11.4 points when he was in after Patterson's injury. So they're going to go up against Tampa Bay this week. So it's also another red flag to start him. But he might have the production because he had 8.4 yards against a decent running team. So he might have something around like 4 or 5 per rush against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Nice. Israel Thoda says the best running back to get and is a deep sleeper is Williams from the Lions. Hey, man, we talked about him all year long. We especially talked about him last week when DeAndre Swift got injured. But this guy's been putting up some points. He's been getting utilized more than Swift, even when he was healthy in the red zone and in targets and in rushes. For some reason, he's kind of like a Tony Pollard. They just utilize the hell out of him. Unfortunately, Pollard did not have a great week last week, but Williams is the guy. We talked about him last week, and that's how we got some players some wins. I know Gabe got a win off of that. He was supposed to get 2, but he got robbed of 1. And Trinity also got a win from that as well. So congrats to those players. Israel, if you have them, good for you. Keep them, hold on to them, hold them dear to your heart. If you just need a running back for 2 weeks at most, then out of those 3, what were you saying?
I say Algier.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're talking 2 weeks at most, there's this one guy. Not a lot of people have, faith in him, but back in the day, he was a dude, right? And I'm talking about Nahim Heims from the Indianapolis Colts. If you're talking short term, this is the guy to get. Jonathan Taylor, he is out. He did he sprained his ankle, or something like that, where he's going to be out for a few weeks, probably 2 weeks. Nahim Heims has proved that he can be a back. He used to be the lead back. Very great in fantasy points because he's also proved to the team that he can catch receptions. So I do feel like they will change up that play style a little bit more. Now, the Colts have not looked that great, and Jonathan Taylor has not looked that great. But now that Hines is back there, he is being forced to be the bell cow of the team and not sharing the ball with Jonathan Taylor. Even though Jonathan Taylor took the majority of the snaps, this guy will get the touches and will get the targets, getting you points for your fantasy football team. Get this guy. He's only owned in 20.9% of leagues. He's out there. They're going up against Denver. I know Denver's sought out to be a very great rush defense. I don't believe in it. Go look at my stats when I talk about Niner Talk when they went up against them. They haven't had a real matchup just yet. But yeah, I like Nahim Heims. Any other running backs we got?
I want to talk about a low tier guy, so especially if you are in like a 12-man league or a 14-man league. I'm pretty sure Rex Brickhead might be on your waiver wire because he's owned in only 5.8% of rosters. But he's not going to be a running back. He's going to be a catching back. This past week, he had 5 receptions for, I believe, 39 yards and a touchdown. And that was when the Texans were really, really struggling in this past game. Forgot the score, but they got beat pretty bad. I think they only scored like 10 or 13 points. So Rex Burkhead was kind of their only touchdown. But I think Rex Burkhead is going to be someone who has a good 2 weeks here because he faces up against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I can't see who the next team is, but it is another team that has green on their defensive play against running backs. So I think Rex Burkhead is going to have some good catching opportunities, but he is not the starter at running back. I believe it is what's his name there? Talked about him a lot in the beginning of the
Pierce.
Video. Yeah, Pierce. So Pierce will be the heavy load guy with actually running the ball, and Rex Burkhead is going to be the guy who comes in on third down, especially when they're behind the sticks. And the Texans right now are usually always behind the sticks. But yeah.
All right. Sweet. Reed, who do you got, man?
For running backs, absolutely nobody. I lost Javonte Williams this week. He was my second running back on my team in one of my leagues, and he went down. And I looked at the waiver wire who was available, and I looked at it, and I was not impressed. That's why I went out and went for a trade with AJ here because he was loaded with running backs. But I didn't like anybody on the waiver wire for myself. I think if you lost, like some of these guys, great for 2 weeks. Some of the guys Vincent and AJ said, great for 2 weeks. Have a short-term solution. But if you're looking for a long-term solution for your running back room, I would say go for a trade. If you have a good a wide receiver just sitting on your bench doing nothing, trade him. Get another good running back to add to your team, because right now I don't like anybody on the waiver wire.
Nice. And if you are looking to trade people, I got some buy lows over here. So try to get these guys if you don't have them already. Number one, Breece Hall. Might not be flashy, but he's consistently getting 15 points a week. That's because he is getting the targets and he's getting the rushes. Okay, they are utilizing him to the fullest potential. 2, J.K. Dobbins. Finally, character unlocked. You got J.K. Dobbins finally ready to go, 100% healthy for the Baltimore Ravens. He's rushing the ball. He's catching touchdown passes. He's all over the place for you guys. 3, Josh Jacobs. He finally found his place there with the Raiders. The Raiders still look horrible, but they're utilizing the running back as he should, as a rush and pass catching back. We have a question right here from Owen Lees. Thank you so much, Owen, for joining us live. Welcome to Not So Pro Fantasy Talk, which is every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. He says, should I do this trade, Williams and Etienne, for D. Smith, Connor, and Edmonds? Yes or no? Woo!
Wow, that's a lot of people.
Yeah. Should I do this trade for Williams and Etienne? I wonder which Williams he's talking about.
Yeah,
do you think he's talking about?
I think Jamal.
Right, it has to be Jamal. Yeah.
I would assume, yeah.
So Jamal Williams for D. Smith, Connor, and Edmonds. I like Connor a lot. Okay, I like him because he's consistent, and now that he is healthy, he's going to be getting, like I've been saying, he's going to be getting the rushes. He's going to be getting the targets. You're not going to have those flashy plays, maybe once or twice out of the year where he gets more than 20 points, but he's consistently going to be getting 10 to 12 to 15 points every single week. And if you're like me, I like consistency. That's what I need, and that's what's going to help you get wins. He says Mike Williams. Ooh. Mike Williams and Etienne.
Okay.
I think you should do it.
Yeah, I like that trade. I like that trade a lot.
Man. I'm not a believer in Connor. I know AJ is, but I just don't like the production that he's getting right now, and I don't think the Cardinals are going to get better on offense. They're an offense that when they get behind, they do not run the ball unless it's with Kyler Murray. That's why I don't like Connor. Edmonds is a tricky one because Miami, they're either going to run the heck out of the ball or they're going to pass the heck out of the ball. But right now, Tua is injured. So I think Edmonds will play a better factor. Javonte Smith has kind of died down a little bit, in my opinion, but so has Williams for the Chargers.
And that's the thing. So you look at it like this. Let's say Williams. Would you rather have Williams or would you rather have Smith and Connor? I'll take Smith and Connor over Williams. Then would you rather have Etienne or would you rather have Edmonds? I think they're kind of neutral. They're kind of evened out there. The thing that Edmonds might have a great week, and then the next week he might look mediocre because they run a two-headed monster out there. They're kind of utilizing Raheem the Dream Mostert as their first and second down back, and then using Edmonds as their pass catching back. and rushing the ball as well. So that's why I kind of like Edmonds, because he's getting the targets that Raheem is not getting. So they're utilizing both running backs 50-50, but who are they going to use in the red zone? I think they're going to utilize more of Edmonds because of his pass catching ability. So I like that trade. I would definitely take that trade. It's not like, oh my gosh, it's a huge, amazing trade, but it's definitely a bump up depending on who you have to drop on your bench. Because you are picking up 3 players for 2, so you will have to drop someone, and that can be a problem. But thank you for joining us live. If you're feeling considerate, hit that subscribe button. It helps out a lot. We are on the road for 200, and once we hit 200 subscribers, we have a huge announcement to do. We want to give back to the community, so make sure we get to 200, and then we will get back to you guys saying thank you. But thank you so much, Owen. He says, I think I'm going to accept. Thanks, boys. I still have Olave to replace Mike Williams. You have Chris Olave. There you go. And that's one guy that everyone's been sleeping on just because it's the Saints and they haven't been looking good. James Winston's been throwing 50 interceptions a game, but now he's injured. Chris Olave's he's a sneaky guy. All right. He's been getting consistent points. He looks good out there. They like to use him, especially when Mike Thomas dealing with this injury. This is the 3rd year in a row where he's dealing with an injury like that. And Jarvis Landry looks like he's last year's news, not even last year, like 3 years ago. He's not the same guy that everyone thought he was. But yeah, that's good. Yeah, take that trade. No problem, Owen. Thank you for being here. But since we're talking about wide receivers, should we get into wide receivers then?
Heck yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, you want me to start? I won't take your guy, Reed. I won't take your guy.
Okay,
now, I wasn't very how do I say this? I wasn't very excited about this week's waiver wire pickups for wide receivers, because last week we talked about people like about the same people like Alan Lazard, Romeo Dobbs, a lot of Green Bay players, but people that don't really think about. But now they're owning a little over 40% of leagues, and we want to keep it low just in case you are in a 12, 14-man league. I'm going to talk about George Pickens. I'm not too ecstatic about this guy. As we all know, the Pittsburgh Steelers did make the transition to start Pickett, and that's going to light a fire. And Pickens had 8 targets last week, and that was the most out of the wide receiver core for the Pittsburgh Steelers, besides Priamuth, if I'm not mistaken. I think Priamuth had 9. But Pickens, he's very promising. We've seen it all season long. He gets open. He's fast. His yak yards are amazing. You just got to get the ball in his hands. So Mike Tomlin, he's a smart coach. Let's get the ball into Pickens' hands. And I can already see in the headlines right now, Pickett to Pickens. Looks great. And then I can see what?
I hate saying that. It's a tongue twister, man.
Pickett to Pickens. Pickett to Pickens, and you win your fantasy league. Look at that. I don't think he's a starter. I think you should pick him up just in case he does become that wide receiver 1, which I do believe he will. Johnson's still a talent, but he's not getting involved. Last week, I told you guys, drop Claypool. Reed gave me a weird look. He gave me that look that he's giving me right now. I said, drop Claypool. How many points did he get last week?
No, you're right.
0. He got
0.
4.
He had 0. Oh.
I thought, yeah, 0. He's done. Yeah. Claypool is not getting the targets. Johnson, he's not getting open. He doesn't look like the guy we saw last year. It's going to be Pickens. He's young. He's quick. He's fast. He has great hands. And with the new QB, he has to find his new best friend. And who else than to choose another rookie so you can grow together? I think this guy's gonna make leaps. Have him on your bench just for that chance of him blowing up.
Yeah. You want to go with your guy first, Reed? You want me to go?
I'll go with one of my guys. I'm going to go with Noah Brown.
Ooh.
Noah Brown's only owned in 10.5% of leagues. Everybody's sleeping on this guy, and I'm not one to promote a Cowboy player, but I really like what I saw of this guy on the last game. But he's had very consistent points. This last week was his worst week with only 9 points. He got 11 points the first week, 20, then 10, and now 9. He's been very, very consistent, and with CD Lamb being kind of inconsistent, in my opinion, I think Noah Brown could take the spot as the wide receiver 2. Now, Michael Gallup coming back can maybe hurt that, but I still think Noah Brown's a great pickup, in my opinion. Go ahead and throw it, AJ. Go ahead. You gonna say Michael Gallup?
I mean, I was going to say, is that your pick? Is that your wide receiver pick?
There's another one, but
okay. Well, because I didn't mention the other guy because I thought you were going to mention him.
No, I'm going to mention him. But
Okay.
I wanted to say Noah Brown first.
So I'm throwing the penalty flag here
Okay.
because I think he went down in production because Michael Gallup is back. And I
Okay.
like Noah Brown. I liked him until the point their wide receivers got healthy.
Okay.
I don't like him now because Noah Brown has been on the team for about 7 years now. He's been consistently on the practice squad. He knows the routine, right? But with Michael Gallup back, I do feel like Michael Gallup will take that lead position. So if he's out there, if he's available, I'll say go try to reach for him. I don't think Noah Brown's a bad choice, but I do feel like his production will slowly, go down, especially with Dak Prescott coming back. There is a history with Dak Prescott doesn't like Noah Brown. Not necessarily doesn't like him, but he doesn't tend to throw with him. Right now, we still got Cooper Rush, and he's a consistent quarterback, which will do anything in his power. It doesn't matter who he's throwing to. He could throw it to a damn rock, for all I care, to get that first down. But when Dak Prescott comes back, I do feel like Michael Gallup will be that wide receiver 2 and that good flex position for your fantasy team.
Okay.
Sounds good. Reed, you want to go on with the next guy, or you want me to go?
I can go right now. All right, Corey Davis is my Nets guy. Jets player. AJ was talking about Jets players a little bit ago, but I really like Corey Davis. He's been very, very consistent other than week 3, but he's been putting up great points, averaging 14. He's only owned in 15% of leagues, and Zack Wilson is back now, and even though he looked a little shaky at the start of the game, his fourth quarter performance looked very, very good. I like Corey Davis, and I think you should pick him up.
Nice.
Not bad, Reed. Yeah, I also had Corey Davis. He had his best game this past week.
Mm-hmm.
The guy I want to talk about, and it's going to be a guy who's only going to be good for the next week. Because after that, what's his name? St. Brown is going to come back.
Amon-Ra. And DJ Chark.
Yeah, and DJ Chark should be coming back this week, I believe. So it's going to dip into Josh Reynolds' production. So this is what I'm saying here. If you really, 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 really need a wide receiver this week, Josh Reynolds is a guy who's going to be consistent for this week. But after that, his production is going to drop like something that I will not say. But anyways, yeah. Horrible, AJ, horrible. But yeah, so Josh Reynolds, he is a guy to stay away. We don't usually do this, but he's a guy who has a lot of points right now. But later on, he is not. So he's a guy that you should not go for. So X that guy out of your waiver wires. But another guy who I really like, and I'm very surprised that I like him, because he is like the 3rd or 4th wide receiver for the Bills right now. His name is Isaiah McKenzie. Right now, he is averaging 12 points per game. But the reason I like him right now is because the past 2 weeks, he's had over 10 points. Now, it's not something super flashy, but he has had touchdowns in the past 2 games. So Josh Allen is really looking his way in the end zone. So right now, I think Isaiah McKenzie is a guy who's going to be consistently above 10 points. So look for him to have a splash out game against the Steelers this week, especially with that defense that is not looking so hot. But other than that, we'll get to this question. Should I drop Garrett Wilson for Davis? I say yes, because I'm actually doing that in one of my leagues. I can't say not to do that because I'm actually doing it as well.
I like Gabriel Davis. I do feel like the production. I'm assuming he's talking about Gabriel Davis. Production will go up.
Corey Davis. I think he's talking about Corey Davis. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you make that QB switch. Does it look like Wilson is that guy anymore? That was Joe Flacco's guy. But yeah, I'd probably do that. I like that. Oh, at least. While you guys are talking about wide receivers, what should I do? I have Chris Olave and Michael Thomas. I feel like that could be a risky having both down the road. Now, I've never really been a fan of double dipping, and if fantasy vocab, that's what double dipping is called. Is when you have 2 players from the same team, whether it be quarterback, wide receiver, quarterback, running back, whatever you want, right? But double dipping with a double wide receiver, I have not done lots of trades because of that. For example, someone offered me Mike Evans, but on my bench, I know he's been injured, but I had Chris Godwin. Doesn't make a lot of sense for me to have both those guys because only one of those guys are going to have a really good game. They might have 2 decent games, but more than likely, the majority of the time, it's going to be one or the other. I don't like that. Michael Thomas, he's dealing with the injury. He's been out for 2 years prior. I don't trust him in the long run. I really don't. And when you have a carousel of QBs coming in, whether it be Winston, whether it be Andy Dalton. Let's say if he doesn't pan out, another quarterback comes in. You have this young talent that the team wants to develop. I do feel like they will be feeding Chris Olave the ball because he is the future of that wide receiver core and that offense. So I do feel like I actually have him right here on my sell high list. You're Michael Thomas. Sell high on that guy. Get some good profit, and you could definitely finesse some people out there because he was producing some good points, and he will continue to produce some decent points for the rest of the season. But I think Chris Olave will do so as well. But Michael Thomas is a name that people really like to see and bite for. So I think you get an amazing 2-for-1 or an elite running back for a quote unquote elite wide receiver like Michael Thomas.
Yeah, definitely get rid of Michael Thomas, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement there. Olave is the future.
Go team. Yeah.
That was an easy one right there. Michael Thomas has always been injured. He's going to continue to be getting injured. And right now, I don't think Andy Dalton's going to rely on him even when he comes back. So Olave is a guy who's consistent, fast, and he's got good cuts in his route running.
Yeah. Get rid of him. Get him out of there. Yeah, get someone for, like I said, those buy low guys. Get someone like Breece Hall. Get someone like J.K. Dobbins, and then you could get someone else with that because in most people's eyes, they're not on the same level. Michael Thomas is up there. You could definitely finesse some people with that. But good question. I like that. Always try to better your team. That's what I always say. Always try to better your team. You can't go wrong there. I got one more wide receiver, unless you're still talking about Mckenzie there, Vincent. I thought Reed was going to talk about this guy. I'm
talking about him too much. That's why.
I guess. Romeo Dobbs. We talked about him last week. I'm a little disappointed because he is only owned in 33.9% of rosters. Last week he was owned in 27% of rosters. So it went up just a little bit. He got 8 targets week 4. That is great. 8 targets week 4. It seems like him and Lazard are those guys for Aaron Rodgers. It reminds me of Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Those guys are going to be getting points. If you want a solid mid to low tier flex for your team, depending on matchups, Romeo Dobbs is your guy. He's going to be the guy getting the receptions. He might not be getting a touchdown every single game, but he will be getting the targets and he will be getting the receptions. And once he has that ball in his hands, he's going to make something happen. You won't regret it. Have him on your bench in the long run. He's going to be very beneficial for your team. Very beneficial.
Yeah, I was able to draft him in all my leagues because I knew he was going to be special, in my opinion. And now I'm in that process. I'm starting to start him in some of my leagues other than leaving him on the bench, just because now he's fully integrated into that offense. Aaron Rodgers trusts him. He likes him, and he's going to continue making plays. He's missing plays. He had a fumble last week, and then he had that second drop touchdown last week, but he's going to continue make improvements on his game, and he's going to be really, really special wide receiver moving forward, especially in the ending of this season. He's going to be putting us some points.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. I mean, that was going to be my last wide receiver that I talk about. I think next we could head into your favorite position there, Vincent. Not only does he love tight ends, but he loves talking about them as well. Vincent, kick it off.
Oh, yeah, man. Tight ends are the unsung heroes, man. That's why they have a tight end university. So this is
tight end U.
Yeah, tight end U, baby. These are the guys that I really like so far. And I'm going to leave one guy for Reed to talk about because he always has it. But I'm going to talk about Will Dissly. So I'm going to have to make my own corner for Will Dissly because Reed has his corner for his guy. But Will Dissly, I said 2 weeks ago, I said he might be a consistent guy. I said last week he's going to be a consistent guy. Make sure you add him because he's going to get a touchdown here or there. And he just did against the Lions. He only had 4 receptions for 39 yards, but he already has 3 touchdowns in 4 games. So he is a tight end presence in the red zone. And Gino really loves this guy. And he also loves his other tight ends as well because Parkinson got a touchdown. And I believe Noah Fant got about 4 receptions as well. So Gino Smith is very successful when he passes to his tight ends because the way that our offense runs now is we have so much misdirection that the tight end just comes out on a little rollout play, usually like how a running back does. So with that, our tight ends are getting the ball, they're getting receptions, they're getting targets in the end zone. So Will Dissly is our best tight end right now. It's not Noah Fant. Don't be misguided by our trade when we got him from Denver, because Will Dissly is Uncle Will, and he's going to stay our number one tight end. But other than that, I'll pass it along to Reed because it's time for Tanya's Corner.
Welcome back to Tanya's Corner. Guys, this is the fourth installment of Tanya's Corner, and I know you guys enjoy this. Is the best part of Tuesday Fantasy. It's the best part, guys. And guess what? He's still improving. AJ challenged me last week. He said he wasn't going to get more points. And then if he didn't get enough points, then I'm going to have to wear a star on my chest. And guess what? He got 10.2 points, guys, when he caught
your pants.
No. Once he got that touchdown, I was like, okay, he just needs one catch, just one catch. And then he caught that one catch and got it in for 2 yards. I was like, yeah, let's freaking go! I was losing my mind. Guys, he got his first touchdown of the year. And for a lot of guys, once you get that first touchdown, things start rolling for you, right? He's going to start rolling. He's improving every single week. Now, do I think he's going to go even higher? He could potentially, but I think 10 points a week he's going to plateau at. Right now, he's only owned in 14% of leagues. And I really, guys, like I told you guys last week, and you guys didn't really pick him up again. What are you guys doing? If you still haven't picked this guy, guys, he's ranked 16th as far as fantasy points right now. 16th. How is he not in every single league? I don't understand it. I really don't. He's going to continue getting points, and I really like this guy. All right. Well, this is Tanya's Corner. All right.
Sounds good, Reed. I'll tell you why Tanya's not owned in every league, because usually leagues are only 10 teams, so they're going for the top 10. That's why I'm also.
You don't have any bench players? Come on,
man. Some people don't carry a 2 tight end.
I don't
set. I usually do, but I haven't done it this year because of some changes. But anyways, Will Dissly is also owned in 1.7% of leagues, so I feel your pain, Reed. He's been a consistent guy, and he's averaging 10 points a game already since week 1. But here's another guy that Reed talked about 2 weeks ago. His name is David Ninjoku.
Thank you, Vincent.
What?
David Ninjoku.
That was me.
Yeah, he's really good.
It was me.
I thought it was Reed. Anyways.
Reed talks about Tanya, and that's it.
This is 2v1 right now. AJ, you're wrong.
Oh, my gosh.
Anyway,
go, keep on going, Vincent, before you're rudely interrupted.
Whoever talked about it, David Ninjoku is averaging 10 points per game.
We got rid of him.
In week 3, he had 22 points. And in week 4, he had 9.7. But he's getting continuous targets because this past week he had 5. The week before that, he had 9. And he's been averaging about 50 yards in the past 3 games. He only has 1 touchdown, which is in game 3. But he's going up against the Chargers, who are very, very bad against tight ends. So I could see David Njoku being a factor a little bit here in this game. The Browns will run the ball a lot, but David Njoku is going to get some receptions in there, as he's shown, because he already has 18 receptions in the past 3 games. So I like David Njoku, and so does AJ, right, AJ?
Yeah.
But other than that, guys, if you really, really are struggling, there's a guy named Irv Smith. I talked about him before the season started. He is only averaging about 6 points per game. So if you are in a tight pickle where everybody is having a double tight end set, this is a good guy to carry, because I believe he's going to have a little bit of a breakout as it starts coming in, because he has 1 touchdown already, and that was in week 2 against the Eagles. So look for this guy as well.
Are you okay, AJ?
I'm cool.
But AJ, it's going to be your favorite time right now.
I do have a tight end that I want to talk about. Yeah. It's the same tight end I talked about last week. I'm talking about Tyler Conklin. As you did see, some production did fall with wide receivers. Tyler Conklin did have a slight reduction. He only had 5 targets last week, but I do feel like Zack Wilson will find his groove and rely on his tight end, because the Jets, I mean, they're getting red hot, man. I don't think they're going to go far in the season, but they're going to put up a fight every single game that they're in. So just like Breece Hall, I do feel like he will get his fair share on that offense and get those targets. Before last week, he was putting up similar numbers to Mark Andrews. But if you're like me, I got Darren Waller in one of my leagues. He was supposed to be a top 3 tight end, not really panning out. So if you need help, pick up some of these guys. They will help you guys out. And this guy's owning 87% of leagues, not Conklin, but I'm talking about Gerald Everett. So there's a chance where he's available. And if he's available, go pick him up ASAP. Jacob Lucier, I probably butchered your last name. Why am I down here? Get me out of here. Why am I down? Okay. Jacob, thank you so much for joining us live here on Not So Pro Fantasy Football Talk, which we do every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. He says, should I trade Keenan Allen and Melvin Gordon for DK, Judy, and Etienne? No. No.
Nope.
This guy. Oh no, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I know Keenan Allen. He's been injured this whole time. I do believe like once he does come back, he might get the target share that he deserves because he is a wide receiver one. I know week 1 he only got like 10 points, which is not very impressive. But I'm just living off a prayer right now. Melvin Gordon, I have faith in him. Okay, there's a big possibility where he's forced to share the workload with I already forgot this guy's name. We talked about him earlier today. That third string running back, that Boone. There you go, Boone. That's going to be coming up and filling that spot because Williams tore his ACL, and he has been dealing with a fumbling issue, which is pretty bad. What happened? It's funny. I had Javonte Swift, Montgomery Keenan, and Renfro.
Jeez, what unfortunate circumstances.
I don't mean to laugh. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh, but that is.
I've been there in some leagues before, some years.
I remember last year, Reed. That was you.
Everything just goes wrong.
That is tough, my guy. That is very tough. So if you're trying to trade for DK, Jared Judy, and Etienne, DK had a great game last week, but remember there was no defense there, so I don't think he's going to be tremendous like that for the rest of the season. I do feel like he can put up somewhat consistent points. Judy, I am not the biggest fan there. Russell's cookie with Sutton a lot lately, and I don't know if he's going to switch off to that point just yet. And Etienne, I'm a little disappointed in him for fantasy. He hasn't been really showing out like I was saying in the preseason. If I were you, I will take the chance. This is a huge chance, okay, of keeping Allen and Melvin Gordon. Now, when I say this is a chance, it's because Keenan Allen and Gordon could produce you zip points every single week because they could be total bust coming off of an injury. And Melvin Gordon's dealing with a little injury as well, but having a fumbling issue and some self-confidence issues. But their ceiling is way, and I do mean way higher than those 3 guys combined. So if I was in your shoes, I guess really depending on your record, but I would stick with Allen and Gordon. And that's a tough one right there. What do you guys think?
I think the only guy out there that really stands out is DK. I have a little bit more faith in DK than AJ does just because I see him every game, every week. And I really dissect the game sometimes. Jacob Lucier says he's 2-2 right now. So I can sympathize with you because I'm 2-2 in 4 leagues right now. And I'm 3-1 in my other league. So doing all right. But I think DK is going to be a guy who's going to be consistently above 10 points. He only has 1 touchdown right now. But once he starts getting more touchdowns, his points are going to jump up to like 17, 18 a week. So if he can get consistent with Gino in the red zone, that'd be amazing. And Gino right now is playing very well. Keenan Allen, once he comes back, he's going to be good. So my recommendation is if you have more depth at running back, or you can actually pick someone up off the waiver wire if someone in your league drops someone, trade Melvin Gordon for DK, see if that's a possibility, because I think DK could help your team out, especially in the flex position. But that's just my opinion. I only like DK. I don't like Jared Judy because Russell Wilson and him are not clicking, and ETN is taking the back seat to James Robinson.
Yeah.
Nope.
Even at that point, James Robinson had a very disappointing week as well. So it looks like they're losing their thunder. Yeah, they're losing their thunder for sure. But hey, Jacob, appreciate you being here, man. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're feeling generous today, hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 200 subscribers. I do believe we are one away now. So thank you, Owen, for subscribing. I believe that was you. Thank you guys so much. If you have any other fantasy questions, hit us up. I mean, we got social medias. We're on TikTok on NSP Football Talk, Twitter, Facebook, Spotify. We're all over the place. That's our email down there, just in case you want to ask us any other questions. He says his team consists of Kyler Murray, Swift, Jamal Williams, Montgomery, Keenan, DJ Moore, Schultz, Renfro, Duvernay in a 12-man league. Kind of rough. Yeah.
As soon as he gets healthy, though, he has a really good team, in my opinion.
Yeah, hey. I think Montgomery should be back within the next week or so.
Yeah.
And Swift as well, I believe. But in my opinion, I think he should go after some running backs for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I mean, I like Swift and Jamal. You're double dipping there, but I get it. Swift is injured, which Jamal's going to do wonders for you. And I said this earlier in the podcast, they're utilizing him more in the red zone, more in target shares, more in rushes over Swift. So I think that's good to look at for the long run, because Jamal Williams just might have better production for the rest of the season. Schultz, he's finally finding his groove. And once Dak Prescott is back, I do feel like his production will go up as well. Duvernay, great flashes. That guy is a young talent, great guy. But yeah, get some depth over there in that running back league, man. I mean, yeah, in the running backs position. But good luck out there. Jeez. Appreciate you guys. Hey, appreciate you joining us live. It helps out a lot. And Javonte and Melvin. Yeah, that's. Hey, 12-man league is a little rough. I mean, here's just a quick recap of people that we talked about earlier, just in case you're just joining us now. For running backs, we talked about Nahim Heims. He's going to be great for 2 weeks. Tyler Algier, great for 3 weeks because he's going to be getting that rush and target share. Melvin Gordon, we did talk about, just because I do have faith in him. And I do feel like he will come out of that slump that he's in and hold on to the ball. He will be that bell cow of the team if he does hold his ground, okay? And there's a slight chance where he doesn't, and Boone takes that production. Wide receiver, Romeo Dobbs, George Pickens. It all looks great, guys. If you're in a 12-man, 14-man league, pick these guys up. They are available. They're out there, And if these guys are out there too, as far as running backs, Ramondre Stevenson, pick him up, owning 60% of leagues. Jeff Wilson, pick him up, owning 59% of leagues. Alexander Madison, pick him up, 56% of leagues. If they're available, go out there, take a reach. Take them out, get them. I mean, they're there. But no, great questions. Should we head into my favorite category?
Go ahead, AJ.
Thank you. I'm getting tired of talking here. If you're like me, I switch up my defense every week to get the best production and the best matchup to get you the best chance of winning your fantasy matchup. Okay, and trust me, it works. Ask my team league. But besides that, there's 3 teams that I'm super excited about. One of them is probably not available, but just for the off chance that they are available, pick up the San Francisco 49ers. They are going up against the Carolina Panthers, which Baker Mayfield is just hot garbage from what we all seen. Does it look great? Does this mean you need to sit CMC? No, I don't think so. I still think he's going to be getting the productions, the target shares, the workload. Jacksonville Jaguars, they're going against the Houston Texans. Jaguars defense looks good. I don't think this will be a challenge for them. I think they'll score very high. Minnesota Vikings going against the Bears. Horrid offense. Can't really do much in the air. They're going to have to be forced to run the ball. I do feel like they will have a very productive game. Jacksonville Jaguars, Vikings are available in the majority of the leagues. So go out there, get them. We'll help you. We'll score a lot of points and help you win your fantasy matchup, just like how Vince won with the 49ers defense last week.
Yep, that was crazy. The 49ers defense put up like 20-some points.
21
points. That's nuts, man.
Yeah, at least in that league. Yeah, that league is a little changed for stats and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I needed, I think, 18 points to win, and they got me 21 in that league. So it was definitely needed. But those are some good picks, AJ. I had actually all 3 of those on my list too. But I had 2 more that I want to talk about. And you guys are going to think I'm crazy. So I'll go the least craziest one right now.
Okay.
The Broncos. The Broncos are really, really good. They don't score a lot of points on offense, but their defense holds up. They're not the best, but right now they're going to go against the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts are really, really struggling to score the ball. And right now, Denver is very good at holding the run down, and that's all they got to do. If they hold down JT or whoever's going to be starting there, if it's Nahim Heims, the Colts really don't have anything else to do. They can't pass the ball effectively. I just think that the Broncos could possibly get some pressure on the quarterback, get a lot of tackles for loss and stuff like that. So they're going to hold the Indianapolis Colts to something under 17 points, which is always good for a defense. Now the second one, you guys are going to think I'm crazy, but let me tell you the stats, all right? The Seahawks. You guys think they're stinky, but they've only had one game where they're under 7 points, and that was against the 49ers. Every other game, they've had exactly 7 points, even when they played the Lions this past week, and they scored 45 points on us. Now, I know it's crazy, but the Lions had 520 yards total on us, but they still scored 7 points. And now we're going against New Orleans, which is the worst offense in the league as of fantasy purposes. They're ranked number 32. So I think our defense could get above 10 points for the first time in the season, because we are averaging 2 sacks a game as well as 1 interception per game as well. I think we have like 2 fumbles in 2 different games. So the turnovers are there. And we have Tariq Woolen. He already has 2 interceptions. He's a fast guy at corner. So look for him to be making a little bit noise throughout this season. But I believe in the Seahawks defense just because they're getting turnovers. They're getting sacks, unlike they did last year. And they're averaging 7 points right now in fantasy purposes.
Nice. I do think you're crazy.
Thank you.
But I could see a silver lining within those teams. So not entirely crazy. I could definitely see, especially with the Broncos, the Colts have been struggling all season long, especially to find themselves in the end zone. I could definitely see that. The Seahawks, I don't know what Andy Dalton could do. I don't know. So I could see a silver lining.
It's the perfect time, bro. It's perfect time.
Yeah, it's a perfect time, right, to experiment, but it could go bad. But I don't think it'll go that bad. Like I said, like you said, they've been consistent with at least 7 points. And I do feel like they will score at least 5 points, which is, mid tier for a defense. But yeah, no, that was great. A lot of injuries this upcoming week, you guys, or this past week. We had big names like Javonte Williams, Jonathan Taylor, Cordero Patterson, Jawan Dotson, Treylon Burks, and Isaiah McKenzie. A lot. SH7, thank you so much for joining us live here. Welcome to Not So Pro Fantasy Football Talk, which we do every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. He says, should I trade Nick Chubb and receive Jamar Chase in a PPR league? Ooh, man, that's tough. I'll tell you what. In a PPR league, it sounds great because Jamar Chase, he's getting the targets, but it's a little tough for him to get the ball. One, the Bengals offensive line is super weak, okay? They're getting to Joe Burrow almost every other play. He has no time, especially for Jamar to get open, to go deep, get those big yak yards. But in a PPR league, he does look good. Nick Chubb, he doesn't get any receptions. He hardly gets any receptions, I should say. But what I like about Nick Chubb is that every time he touches the ball, he is averaging at least 5 yards a touch. 5 yards a touch, that is the best in the league. It is awesome. I guess it really just depends on what your roster looks like. Who are your running backs? Who are your wide receivers? Jamar Chase for Nick Chubb. If it was last year, I would say, do it, right? Why not? And what your record is right now. Are you winning right now? Are you losing? But right now, just by looking at it, I'm really hesitant and rather just play it safe and hold on to Nick Chubb, even though wide receivers are becoming more and more scarce. But yeah, I would say hold on to Nick Chubb. Probably not what you wanted to hear, but like I said, I don't know the rest of your roster and I don't know what your record looks like. So what do y'all think? Y'all agree here?
I disagree with you, AJ. Okay. Without knowing his roster, I think Jamar Chase has a bigger upside than Nick Chubb, in my opinion. But it also, as you said, it completely depends on what he has on his roster. Do you have a bunch of running backs that you can replace Nick Chubb with? Do you have no wide receivers on your team? It really just depends what your roster is. It's not about having the best wide receiver, having the best running back. It's about building the best overall team. But I think I like Chase over Chubb, in my opinion.
Wow.
Wow.
Vince, you got to be the tiebreaker here, man.
I agree with AJ here. I think Nick Chubb is the better guy. Let's see what SH7 said. He says he has Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall at running back. His wide receivers are Evans, Sutton, and Olave. I think you rock with Evans and Olave. I don't like Sutton, and we're not believers in Sutton at all. But Dalvin Cook is going to be good unless he gets injured, of course. But that's where you pick up Madison. Breece Hall is consistent, just like AJ said earlier in this video. He's averaging about 15 points a game. But I'm looking at Jamar Chase's numbers right now, and his receptions have just consistently gone down since week one. Week one, he was amazing, 10 receptions, 29 points. And then it went down to 5, 6, 4 receptions. It's getting harder and harder for him to be getting the ball right now. And I think that's mostly because everybody saw his production last year, and they're like, we're not going to allow that anymore. So right now it's getting a little bit harder for Jamar Chase to get the ball. Joe Burrow, again, he's under pressure just like he was last year. They're not doing so hot. And I think your roster is looking pretty good right now. My only worry is like what's on your bench. Of course, that's your starting lineup that you showed us right now. But I think you keep an extra running back, especially Nick Chubb. I believe he's ranked number 3 or 4 right now in most leagues, especially in a PPR league, even though he doesn't get the ball in receptions much. He's always the guy they go to in the end zone. And he's the guy who always averages about 5 yards per carry. So I think he's just too much of a gem to trade away, especially for someone right now who's averaging about 12 points, even in a PPR league.
I like this team. This is a sexy team right here. This is my type of team. I like this a lot. You have people like Nick Chubb and Breece Hall. Those guys are bell cows, man. Bell cows. Then you have wide receivers like Mike Evans and Olave. Consistent guys. Love it. Love the team, man. Hopefully you're doing well. And by the looks of it, you might be in a 10-man league, if I'm not mistaken. Jonathan Barrow, what's up, man? Appreciate you being here, dude. What's up, boys? I got Fournette, and somebody offered Mixon straight up. Fournette for Mixon, Quickson Mixon. You know what? They're going to be utilizing Mixon a lot more. I have seen his production slightly go up when it comes to target share, just because, Joe Burrow doesn't have time back there. He doesn't have time. So I like that. Hey, congratulations. Keep on trying to get your team up there, man. Good job, Jonathan. Appreciate you being here live. SA7, appreciate the advice. We appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. If you're feeling generous, hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 200 subscribers. We're still a small channel. Help us get there. We're going to give back to the community once we hit 200. So if we do hit that next week, we got some big news coming out.
AJ,
yes.
We've hit 200 subscribers.
Oh, we did?
We just hit 2. Yeah, I just looked.
Hey, thank you all so much, dude. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
man. Should I tell them? I don't know.
I think we should tell them. We don't know what we have yet, but
you know what, you guys? Next week, we're gonna post it on Twitter, Facebook, on TikTok. We're on TikTok on NSP Football Talk. We're doing a signed jersey giveaway. Okay, free of charge. All you have to do, which we're going to explain a little bit more in detail, but basically all you have to do is just make sure you're subscribed. If you're subscribed, that should automatically enter you into this giveaway. And we want to get back to you guys saying thank you. We started off very small. We're still a very small channel, and we're trying to go. And thanks to you guys, I'm pumped. Woo! That's awesome. Thank you guys so much. Woo! We hit 200. Appreciate you guys. Honestly. Thank you all so much. We got another guy right here, Nick Poppich. I believe this is your first time here on the show. Thank you so much for joining us live. We do Fantasy Football Talk every Tuesday, 6 o'clock. He says, chip winning team. Lamar, CMC, Lenny, Jamar Chase, CD, Godwin, Kelsey, Judy, Dobbs, Rashad Bateman. He says Rashad White. Isaiah McKenzie, and IR Jameson Williams. Ooh, I like Jameson Williams. I do feel like he will have an upside once he does get healthy. The team is clicking in all centers right now, even without wide receivers. So I do feel like he will get a target share. I like your team.
It's so good.
It's really good. It is really good. And how you got this good or how you got this team, I'm not too sure. Maybe you're in a 4-man league. I don't know, but this looks great. So congratulations to you, Nick. I'm rooting for you. Hopefully you do get to the championship. And if you do, when you win, let us know. We want to celebrate with y'all. We want to give you a shout out over here. But yeah, this is awesome. Let's say I'm trying to get more of the waiver, but it's hard because I got last priority. Hey, same here, buddy. I'm in 4 leagues, and in 3 of those 4 leagues, I'm 4-0. So I'm very last priority in every single one of them. But I'm in the waiver wire every single week. Keep on trying. Put in multiple waivers. Always try to better your team. That's how you stay on top, brother. That's just how it is when you're that good. Congratulations, great show. Hey, thank you so much. We appreciate you guys. This is a huge step. I can't even talk right now. Huge checkpoint for us. Thank you. McCurley Wolf, my guys, first time seeing y'all this year. Yeah, dude, we missed you so much. Remember you last year. You're one of the originals that helped us kick off fantasy football talk last year. We remember you. You're in our old intro, your little deal there. But thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. Love you, man. Says y'all helped me out so much last year. Appreciate y'all. Oh man, y'all gonna make y'all trying to make me cry today, huh? It says y'all helped me out so much last year. We want to help you out again this year. So thank you for being here. We got a lot of advice. We've gotten better. I feel like we've been helping out a lot of people. We did some shout outs in the beginning of the show. We helped someone in last place. I know it's barely going into week 5, but from last place to scoring the most points each and every week, that's a big stone right there. So thank you for trusting in us, in our advice. We know there's a lot of great people out there that have a lot of great advice as well. But we want to give you guys not just the advice, but also the entertainment so you guys can feel comfortable, because we are a family. That's what we're trying to build here. We're trying to build a family, a culture. It says, first question of the year, trade Najee for Kamara, PPR. Appreciate y'all again. This is a little tricky because, the Steelers just switched the starting quarterback to Pickett. We did talk about Pickens a little while ago. Kamara is someone that I do have on buying low, but I do feel like that is a neutral trade, just depending on whatever you feel more comfortable with. I do feel like Kamara will get the workload just because of that QB swap. But me personally, I like Najee a little bit more. That young QB is going to need someone to hold on to, that little crutch factor, and he's going to be dumping off a lot of passes to him, especially in a PPR league. I think Najee Harris is your guy and will definitely increase in production going along the season.
100%.
Oh, man.
100%.
Woo! Let's keep going. Nick says, love the energy. Guys. We'll be coming back. I made a few trades, really good ones. Hey, let us know. Yeah. We're excited for you. I'm excited. I've only made one trade so far this year just because no one else wants to trade with me for whatever reason. Might be because I'm your first. I don't know. But yeah, we try to bring that energy. We try to do that every show. We have live football talk every Monday. So we don't just do fantasy. We talk the NFL as well. We do live football talk every Monday, live fantasy talk every Tuesday. And then we record Reed records Packer talk Wednesday. Then we have Thursday schedule prediction, Friday 49er talk with myself, and then Saturday we do the Cheeseman talk. Honestly, this week we might talk about Tom Brady losing his wife, but
whoa, no, we can't do that.
We can't do. We'll talk about Zack Wilson picking up his wife.
Oh my god!
I say so, Nick. You have 3 first rounder, man. What a team! Heck yeah, this is the type of culture we want to build. We want to pick each other up. Let's go. And one of the guys that we were bashing on earlier, Joseph Murray, Broncos new lead back.
Jeez.
Murray, who? No, we got Melvin Gordon and we have Boone, who might take that half spot and share the production there. Don't fall for what you're hearing and all these dark web secrets that you get into, Joseph. We know how you are. Don't fall for it. When you talk about Broncos, you want to look for Melvin Gordon. He might not be available. He's taken up in 80% of leagues, but just for that off chance, get him in the leagues that you're in. I highly doubt he's in there. But Boone, if you want to take a chance, I think he's just a handcuffed player. But that's all I got for that comment right there. Good luck next week. You're going to get someone really good who's undefeated. Wink, wink. But he says, trade Cordero for Lenny and made a big trade for Jamar. And also forgot to say, I got Jacoby Myers in that same trade.
Jeez.
Wow, man. That's awesome. Hey, good for you. Jamar Chase is a huge upgrade. I think Jacoby is a good, safe lock to have on your bench just because you don't know the production that he's going to be getting with Zap as a new quarterback. They're going to be playing very conservative, and they need to find that guy. Right now, I think it's Devontae Parker, but Jacoby has a lot of promise. And the one thing I love about Jacoby is his yak production. Once he gets the ball in his hands, the sky's the limit, baby. The sky's the limit. But good for you, man. He also says, I know my fantasy is going to be stupid RN, but Curly, they already said GG, league's already won. Go celebrate, man. Go celebrate. Have a great time. Appreciate every single one of y'all being here. And if you are new or if y'all just joining in with us right now, we just hit 200 subscribers. We're trying to grow. Thank you all so much. We are going to be doing a signed jersey giveaway for you guys. So we will announce details on that in our information below on Twitter, Facebook, on TikTok, on NSP Football Talk, on how to enter. Basically, all you got to do is make sure you are subscribed and we'll do the rest. Okay. Thank you guys so much. We're very fortunate to have you guys with us today. So thank you.
Seriously, we're at 201 now, actually. We're going to the moon. We're going to the moon, baby. We're going to NSP, man. Thank you all so much. Appreciate you guys. Says Murray Broncos newly back. Hey, if you want to take a chance, go for it. I encourage you to take that chance because you're going up against me this upcoming week. So go for it, my man. Maybe later, but not right now.
Yeah.
It says, y'all worried about Najee's this Frank this year. We did talk about this preseason. We were a little worried about it, but it does seem that he is a tough cookie. He's going to go out there. He's going to be playing for the rest of the season. Unless something gets very serious, I don't think he's going to slow him down. He's the type of guy that's going to be just going at it. Going at it. So I'm not worried at all about that. So I'd stay pretty confident with Najee. Should I trade Kittle? If so, what tight end could I realistically get in return? You're talking to the right guy, my man. I've been saying this for the past 2 years for fantasy. Don't pick up George Kittle. Don't pick him up. The way Shanahan likes to use him, he uses him as a blocking tight end. That's why our run game is so elite because George Kittle is so great in blocking and doing the dirty work that tight ends don't like. He's not a flashy tight end. He can be, but his main priority there with the team is to make sure that we are successful all around. So yes, you should trade Kittle. Now, I think you should. I have him right here. Sell high. George Kittle right here in my notes. Sell high. Get someone. You don't have to get a tight end.
Yep.
Realistically, you don't have to get a tight end. Get someone like a Breece Hall, like a J.K. Dobbins, like a Josh Jacobs. Those are guys that you want to aim for because out there in the waiver wire, you have people like Tyler Conklin, David Njoku, Robert Tanya that you could get that are owned in less than 30% of leagues. So they are available and they are producing tight end one numbers. What's up? What you got, man?
No, I was saying, Robert Tanya is a great person you can pick up. Yep.
Yeah. Hey, SWA, appreciate you being here. If you just joined, we are, I can't even say on the road to 200. We're on the road to 300 now. Woo! We're on the road to 300. If you're feeling generous, hit that sub button. It helps out a lot. We do fantasy football talk every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. As you can tell, I am overly excited. I don't normally talk like this. I think my fiance is a little mad right now because we've been live for over an hour and I think she has dinner for me and it's just getting cold, but we're going to stick it out with you guys. We want to help you guys get the best possible roster that you can get for your fantasy team. Okay, now let's do a quick little rundown. Benny, thank you so much for being here. Yeah, let's go 300. Basically, we are going to the moon. I got my guys telling me to get some water. I ran out like 5 minutes ago.
Oh, shoot.
So, yeah.
We usually didn't expect to go for an hour.
No, we didn't. But you know what? I'm more than happy to do this. I love doing this. Like I said, we are a small channel. We're just trying to make it just like the Island Boys. And we're not only trying to give you guys great advice, but we're also trying to give you guys the entertainment that you guys need. Because I remember, you're going to school or whatever, you're listening to your parents and they're giving out good advice. I love my parents. They gave me great advice, but sometimes it's a little bit of a snooze fest. I'm not talking about my parents, of course, just in case you're watching, but I'm not talking about my parents. But we want to give you guys entertainment and we're going to have fun here. We want to support each other, have fun. Let's win with each other. Oh my gosh, I'm in deep trouble, you guys. Anissa Garza is actually my fiance, and before we went live on the show, I was like, "Hey, if you love me, bring some Chick-fil-A." I'm craving some Chick-fil-A, so I have dinner downstairs waiting for me. She's mad, but you know what? Cozy has the questions for us, so we're gonna keep going. He says, "Cozy PPR flex, Sutton, CD, Godwin, Amari Cooper." Oh, so you're trying to find a flex. So Sutton has been in a hot streak right now. So has CeeDee Lamb. Chris Godwin, he's back. He's healthy. He did get some good points. And Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper is too inconsistent with that inconsistent offense. X that out. Push him aside. Sutton, I don't like Russell Wilson. I don't think the Broncos are getting anything rolling. They're not. Let's ride. They're not riding. So let's push him out. CeeDee Lamb, I do feel like he is getting the production. I do feel like he is going to keep on increasing. Godwin, I do feel like he's going to keep on increasing. As far as the highest ceiling, I think CD has the highest ceiling because he will be getting the majority target share, and Godwin will be that wide receiver 2 because Mike Evans is that wide receiver 1. If you had to choose a flex, I'm going to do it this week. I'm going to put CeeDee Lamb in there. Thank you so much, Cozy, for joining us here. We do live fantasy football talk every Tuesday starting at 6 o'clock. Hello, Mom. What's going on? No, you have great advice for me. But yeah, it says SWA says, okay, good to know. Also, should I try a trade for Hurts and give up Lamar for the stack of AJB and Hurts, or just stick with Lamar? You're sitting pretty right now, my man. You're sitting pretty. Hurts is an amazing quarterback. Okay, I think he's ranked 2? 3. He's ranked 3. Lamar had that one amazing game which bumped him up there. He's 1 or 2, and you want to double dip with AJB. Listen, man, if you don't have to, something that my father once told me, great advice that my father once told me, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Okay. If your team ain't broke, but you have a great team, SWA, don't fix it. You're looking good. It's not a bad trade. Right. But me personally, I don't like to double dip. Lamar is great. He's going to do everything in his power to be getting those points. And like I said before the show, to Reed, every night has its dawn. All right. So the Eagles are going to have his dawn sometime then. Doesn't matter if the Ravens are going to lose. Lamar likes to carry his team, and he's going to continue to do so. So, no, I think you're sitting pretty right now. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, man, there was an article on Lamar. It's saying that he is most likely going to have an MVP type season. But I think you should just keep him just because, just like AJ said, every time that they play, Lamar is going to be the number 1 star. He's going to be the guy who has the ball in his hand every single play, whether he's running it, passing it, or he's shoveling it down to J.K. Dobbins, his new number 1 wide receiver, basically. Yeah. So I think Lamar, you should keep him. Hurts is good, and I'm very high on Hurts, and I think that he can also run in for the MVP type candidate, especially with how his team is doing. But right now, Lamar is the number 1 fantasy quarterback. He's going to stay the number 1 fantasy quarterback. If not number 1, then he's going to be top 3 for the entire season unless something tragically happens. But we're knocking on wood because we don't want that to happen. But yeah, I think your team is good for that Kittle trade earlier. Just like we said, don't trade for a tight end. Pick up a tight end on fantasy waiver wire and really trade for something that you really need, whether it's a backup running back, a backup wide receiver, or if you need someone who needs to slide into the starting lineup right now, do that. Get what you need. Don't reach for something that's just a little bit better than what you already have.
Very nicely said. And going back to this, I don't know why I didn't even look this way, but in my notes that I make it every week and I distribute it. It's my fantasy football notes. In my stardom section, I have CeeDee Lamb in my starter section.
Yep.
He's out of prison, my guys. And what I mean by that, go check out our TikTok. NSP Football Talk. We did a little something to piss off the Cowboys fans week 1 for fantasy football just because CeeDee Lamb did bad. But there's a reason why I did trade him. It's because we knew that he was going to have a great season, a huge upside for him. But man, oh man, I think we just hit 202 subscribers. If you haven't subscribed yet, go out there, feel generous, hit that subscribe button. We are going to be doing a huge giveaway in celebration. We are going to be giving away a autographed jersey, and it's authentic. It has the letter of authenticity with it. So if you want to check it, it is 100% there. Now, we won't release who it is just yet. When we give out the details on who it is or how to enter, we will release what the jersey looks like and who it is. And I'll tell you guys right now, it's not some guy that played 50 years from now. It's not some guy in college. It is a current player right now. We're talking CD Lamb. We're talking Deebo Samuel, DK Metcalf, Alan Lazard, Romeo Dobbs, even rookies for this year. We could get
Juice check.
Kyle Juszczyk, the juice, baby. Drem ML, thank you so much for being here, my man. I see you're a Packers fan, so you're definitely gonna love reading here.
I love that profile.
It's nice, right?
He says, would you trade Josh Jacobs or Montgomery for Pittman Jr. in full PPR? Now, Pittman Jr., he is getting the majority of the target share because he's clearly the wide receiver one. I would trade Montgomery. I would hold on to Jacobs. He's one of those guys that I have listed as my keep guys, okay? Keep him, and they are just starting to utilize Jacobs for what he is there for both the rushing and target attack. So now he's getting some good points. These past 2 weeks, he's been consistent, and I do feel like he will continue to rise as far as production. Michael Pittman, I like him. His production really hasn't been there just because the Colts really haven't found themselves. You know, Matty Ice, he's melted. He's melted down. But if you were to make a trade, I would trade Montgomery because we don't know if he will be healthy for the rest of the season. But if he is, you know, it could go either way because the Bears don't have a lot going on for them. What they do have is rushing the ball, and they just abuse the rushing attack. So Montgomery could be good. If I were you, if I were to make that trade, it would be Montgomery and not Josh Jacobs.
I wouldn't trade either of them, in my opinion. Josh Jacobs is good, but Montgomery is even better with how much they're going to run that ball because Justin Fields cannot do anything. I say you got to keep Montgomery. He's hurt right now, but he's going to come back, and you just got to trust that he's going to be healthy. Yeah, I don't think Pittman's worth it.
Hey man, if you don't trust Matt Ryan, then you should trust his player on your team.
Yeah,
stick with those guys. Those are good players. Once Montgomery does get fully healthy, which I hope he does for your sake, just because we want to see you win out there, then he's going to be producing a lot of points. Might not be a lot of touchdowns, but he's going to be used up a lot.
Yep.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us live. If you're feeling generous, hit that subscribe button. I said that so many times today, but it's been paying off. Thank you all so much. We're now on the road to 300. We're doing a huge giveaway. Hit us up. We're on Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Spotify. We're all over the place, but we are especially trying to grow here on YouTube and also TikTok. So if you're a TikTok guy or a TikTok user, go to NSP Football Talk. We got some great content out there. It's nothing like this. We're a little wacky on TikTok. So we try to entertain as well as much as give out some good advice, not only advice about fantasy, but we talk about football as well. Every Monday we have a live show just talking football. But if you want to throw in fantasy questions, we are more than happy to answer those. Benny says he's 3-1. Yeah, you got lucky in one of those leagues last week, man. You got lucky out there. I sat J.K. Dobbins. Huge mistake, a mistake that I won't be making again. But now that he's 100% healthy, he's ready to go. Character unlocked. But man, you guys have anything else?
No, you guys just got to pick up Robert Tanya if you're going to start winning your leagues, all right?
No, man. Don't pick up him. Pick up Will Dissly. Me and Reed are going to be fighting all season long on who's going to be the better tight end from our respective teams.
They're both good tight ends. They are both good tight ends. Will Dissly, I would rather take my personal opinion. I'm sorry here. I'd rather take Tanya just because Gino Smith loves all of his tight ends. So he's that guy that goes to feeds the deer. Everybody eats. Everybody eats. He's sharing too much, man. And Robert Tonyan, he's not sharing as much instead of over there in Seattle where he's sharing with 3 tight ends. So I like Tonyan a little bit more than Dissly. Still both very good picks out there. Go pick up Tyler Conklin. Go pick up David Njoku. They're out there. They're available. But I guess we should end off this video. I just want to say thank you all so much for joining us live. This has been huge for us. Honestly, I had a lot of fun here. We've been online for an hour and 18 minutes going on 20. This is awesome. Having so much fun. Thank you all so much. If you're into fantasy football talk, join us live next week on Tuesday. Or if you're really into it, we might just do another fantasy show sometime this week.
Ooh.
Okay. We do what the people want. We do what the people want. That's the difference, because there's a lot of guys out there that give out some great advice and great content, not dishing out on anyone. There's a lot of great guys, and I know the majority of those guys are going live right now. So appreciate every single one of y'all who decided to take a chance on this small channel. We're going to get there, hopefully, one day. But thank you all so much. And until next time, you guys, keep on grinding.